So, our story starts in Paris. We've got an old writer. He's seen it all, and he's getting near the end. He's just come back from a trip to Spain, but he's not just carrying luggage. He's carrying a secret, a story that could just blow up reputations, maybe even change history. And now he's stuck with this choice. Does he stick with the comfortable lie he helped build, or does he embrace the dangerous truth that's finally hunted him down? And this thought is just rattling around in his head. The problem with truth is that no one wants it. It's a brutal realization, right? People say they want the truth. They scream for it. But the real, raw, messy truth? Nah. It tends to wreck the nice, simple stories we like to tell ourselves. And that one single idea, well, it's going to drive everything that happens next. All right, so picture this. The writer returns to his apartment in Paris. It's on the 4th floor, feels a little stale. He's old, he's tired. And the world he used to write about with so much passion feels a long way away. But this trip to Spain, it wasn't just for old time's sake. No, he brought something back with him. Something that carries the full, crushing weight of a war that was fought decades ago. And what is this thing? It's just a letter, a simple piece of paper. But it's how he got it that makes it so heavy. It was handed to him by a one-armed boy, a kid who'd already been broken by another revolution over in Cuba, now acting as a messenger from a ghost. So yeah, this is way more than just a letter. It's a final statement, a last will and testament from a soldier of the Spanish Civil War who everyone had forgotten. The man who wrote the letter, his name was Andrés. He was a Republican fighter back in the Civil War. When Franco's side won, Andrés didn't run. He didn't surrender. He went underground. And I mean that literally. For 22 years, he lived in caves, a ghost, with one single mission, to write down the truth of what really happened. This letter, this is everything he sacrificed his life for. So what was this truth that Andrés gave up everything to protect? It's a story of betrayal. And what makes it so gut-wrenching for a writer is that it's about a man he knew, personally, a man he himself turned into a worldwide symbol of courage and honor. See, in the writer's most famous novel, the hero is this guy named Luis Delgado, and he's perfect. He's brave, he's honorable, a total believer in the cause. The writer even remembers him that way. Smart, great guy to be around. He took this man's life and turned it into a legend. And the world believed in the hero Luis Delgado, because our writer told them to. But Andrés's letter, it just shatters that myth completely. The brave fighter, turns out he was an informant. The man of honor, he was a traitor. The true believer, nope, he was a betrayer, selling out his friends for cash. The writer didn't just get a few details wrong. He got the entire man wrong. He'd made a lie immortal. And when you boil it all down, Andrés's letter really comes down to just one single horrifying number, 17. That's how many people Luis Delgado sold out. Teachers, farmers, doctors, 17 of them, including a schoolteacher named Maria Sanchez, all betrayed to Franco's forces, all of them executed. And the price for all that, the cost of 17 human souls, it came out to less than $2 a head. That is the truth our writer is now holding in his hands. So you can imagine, this knowledge sends him into a total moral crisis. This isn't just about fixing a typo in a history book, it's about his own part in it all. He's the one who turned a traitor into a hero. And now, the full weight of that truth is sitting right on his shoulders. And all of his options are terrible. He could publish the truth, try to get some kind of justice for the 17 people who died. But that would destroy the lives of Delgado's family, who are totally innocent in all this. Or he could just stay quiet, but wouldn't that be betraying the dead all over again? And hanging over all of it is his own faults in creating this fake hero in the first place. And just when you think the moral pressure couldn't get any worse, things get physically dangerous. A little typed note gets slipped under his apartment door. It says, "You have something that does not belong to you. Destroy it, forget it." Right, so this is an ancient history. There are powerful people still alive who want this secret to stay buried for good. The truth isn't just awkward now, it's a threat. And this really gets us to the heart of the whole story. What do you do? What is the right choice when every single path you can take leads to someone getting hurt? That's the impossible spot the writer's in. So what does he do? Well, faced with this impossible choice, he comes up with a plan. A final move that really only a writer could think of. It's his attempt to find a balance, to get justice for the dead, but also show some mercy to the living.
Okay, so here's the plan. First, he sits down and writes the real story, but he frames it as a work of fiction. He takes every raw, damning fact from Andres' letter and weaves it into a new narrative. Second, he takes this new manuscript and the original letter and seals them together in a package. And third, he mails it to his publisher with very, very specific instructions. You cannot open this until I am dead, and Spain's dictator, Francisco Franco, is also dead.
What he's done is brilliant, really. He's put the truth on a timer. It's an active witness, but one that delays the fallout. He basically created a time capsule of justice. And now, we get to see what happens when that time capsule is finally opened.
So years go by and the plan works exactly as he hoped. A scholar digging through archives finds Andres' original letter. Then, after Franco finally dies, the publisher follows the instructions and publishes the writer's last book. And just like that, the record is set straight. The fictional hero is exposed for the traitor he was, and most importantly, the names of his 17 victims are finally spoken and remembered.
And the writer summed it up perfectly himself in the author's note of that final book. He wrote, "This story is fiction, the events described are invented," and then he adds, "It is also true." He got it. He understood that sometimes the only way you can tell the absolute deepest truth is by giving it the shape of a story. So we're left with this huge question. What is a writer's real job at the end of the day? Is it to protect the living, to shield them from painful truths? Or is it to the dead, to make sure their stories are told right, to keep the record accurate, no matter who it hurts? There's no easy answer. But this writer, at the very end of his life, he answered it with one last incredible, courageous act of storytelling.